Have you ever noticed how some places just have this weight to them? Like the ground itself is just saturated with centuries of stories. Well, today we're diving into one of those places, Ayodhya.
Ah, Ayodhya.
The
Right.
city in India that's just thrumming with historical and religious and mythological significance.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear Ayodhya, you immediately think about Uttar Pradesh,
Right,
right there on the banks of the Sarayu River.
right.
But it's so much more than just a dot on the map, you know? It's like this crossroads where the ancient past is still shaping the present in a very real way.
Totally, and that's exactly what we're going to try to understand in this deep dive.
Hmm.
We've got some incredible material to work with, and our goal is to really untangle all the threads of Ayodhya's importance.
Absolutely.
Like, why does this place hold such a central place for so many people? And how does it fit into the broader historical narrative? Think of this as your crash course on everything Ayodhya.
So let's lay out the roadmap, shall we? What are the key things we're going to hit on as we explore Ayodhya? Well, first off, we have to talk about its huge religious significance.
Right.
Then we'll trace its historical journey through the centuries.
Okay.
We'll dive into the whole Babri Masjid and Ram Janmabhoomi issue.
Yeah, can't avoid that one.
No, it's
It's
key.
a big one.
We'll look at how Ayodhya is evolving today.
Hmm.
And of course, we'll highlight all the major landmarks you should know about.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So why don't we kick things off with what's arguably the most fundamental aspect of Ayodhya's identity, its religious significance.
Okay.
And our sources are pretty clear about this one.
Yeah.
Ayodhya is revered as the birthplace of Lord Rama.
Okay.
And that's not just the minor detail, you
Right.
know. This is like the cornerstone of Ayodhya's spiritual identity.
I see.
The Ramayana, written by Valmiki, which is a super important Hindu scripture, it just cements that connection.
Right.
I mean, it basically weaves the city's whole essence with the life and deeds of Rama.
Hmm.
Yeah. And, you know, some interpretations of the Ramayana, get this,
Yeah.
they even describe the dust of Ayodhya as sacred.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, like imbued with Rama's essence.
Wow.
Talk about a strong belief, right?
Yeah, that's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that leads us right to Ram Janmabhoomi,
Right.
which I believe translates directly to Rama's birthplace.
You got it.
It's more than just a location, though, isn't it? It's like this whole concept, this idea overflowing with devotion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It signifies that sacred spot where devotees believe the divine incarnation of Vishnu as Rama first came into being.
Okay.
And that belief has been a central tenet of Hindu faith for centuries.
Now, here's what I find fascinating. Ayodhya isn't just a sacred city, it's one of the Saptapuris.
Right.
For our listeners who might not be familiar, can you explain what exactly that means?
Of course.
Yeah.
The Saptapuri are essentially the 7 most sacred pilgrimage sites in all of Hinduism. So for Ayodhya to be part of this elite group, along with places like Varanasi and Mathura, I mean, that just shows you how incredibly important it is spiritually for so many people.
It's in a whole other league.
Exactly. It's like the major leagues of holy sites.
Okay, so it's one of the 7.
Mm-hmm.
But do our sources say anything about what makes it stand out even within that group?
Well, what really sets Ayodhya apart is that direct connection to a major deity, Lord Rama.
Ah, I see.
While the other Saptapuris are obviously super important in their own right, Ayodhya's identity is so intertwined with this central figure,
Right.
you know, in Hindu theology and culture,
Okay.
that makes it an incredibly potent spiritual magnet.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that with this kind of religious significance, the city must be absolutely packed with temples.
Oh, absolutely.
Each one with its own story to tell.
Oh, tons of them.
Yeah.
Well, the Ram Janmabhoomi temple is kind of the main focus right now because of everything that's happened recently.
Right.
Ayodhya has always had a ton of other temples, and it still does.
Mhm.
They all contribute to this sacred atmosphere and draw pilgrims all year round.
So from being the birthplace of Rama to its place among the most sacred cities in Hinduism,
Mm-hmm.
Ayodhya's religious significance is undeniable.
For sure.
Now, let's flip through the pages of history a bit and delve into Ayodhya's long and fascinating history on the subcontinent.
Okay.
Our sources suggest this city has some seriously deep roots.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What kind of time frame are we talking about here?
Well, Ayodhya's history stretches back thousands of years.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking ancient
Okay.
archaeological evidence and textual references suggest that people have been living there continuously since at least 1000 BCE.
Wow, Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest living cities in the entire region.
And it's not just the Ramayana that mentions it.
No, not at all.
It pops up in other ancient Indian texts as well?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Well, besides the epic tale of Rama, you can find Ayodhya mentioned in other significant texts like the Vedas and the Mahabharata.
Okay.
This really shows you how deeply ingrained it was in the ancient Indian consciousness.
And of course, the Ramayana's portrayal of Ayodhya is just so vivid.
Right.
It describes this prosperous grand city ruled by King Dasharatha. It almost feels like a glimpse into a legendary golden age.
It's definitely idealized in the Ramayana, portrayed as a center of dharma and prosperity, righteous rule, the whole 9 yards.
Right. And for our listeners, could you explain what dharma means in this context?
Yeah, basically it refers to one's duty, righteousness, the natural order of things, all that good stuff.
Okay, got it.
But even beyond the epic narrative, historical sources link Ayodhya to the powerful Kosala kingdom,
Right.
showing its political clout in the region.
I see.
It wasn't just a religious hub, you know? This was a seat of power.
A real player in the games.
Exactly.
So we have this picture of a thriving ancient city, but then things start to change as we move into the medieval period, right? With the arrival of Muslim dynasties.
Exactly.
How did that shift things?
Well, as the subcontinent saw wave after wave of new rulers,
Right.
Ayodhya came under the influence of the Delhi Sultanate and later the Mughal Empire. And this period marks a pretty significant turning point, particularly with the arrival of Babur in the early 16th century.
And that's where the name Babri Masjid enters the picture.
Yes.
The sources suggest that Babur commissioned the building of a mosque on the very site believed by many to be Rama's birthplace.
Right. That's the crux of the whole controversy. That the Babri Masjid was built on what a lot of Hindus consider Janmabhoomi became a point of contention for centuries.
Yeah, that's a pretty sensitive issue, no doubt.
Absolutely.
And it intertwined religious beliefs, historical claims, and political aspirations. Yeah, a whole tangled web.
For sure.
So we really can't talk about Ayodhya's modern context without addressing this historical conflict.
You can't. It's just too important.
So the Babri Masjid, standing on what was considered sacred ground, that was obviously a source of tension.
Definitely.
Sadly, that tension culminated in the mosque's demolition in 1992 by Hindu activists. And of course, that sparked widespread violence and really heated debates across India.
A very difficult time.
Yeah, a period marked by real division and a lot of pain for so many people.
Absolutely.
And as our sources detail, the aftermath was this long and drawn-out legal and political battle over the land.
Right, over who owned it and what it really meant.
Exactly. And I imagine there were a lot of different perspectives and historical interpretations being thrown around.
Oh, tons. And each side was absolutely convinced they were right.
Right, right.
It was a tough situation.
So this went on for decades, until finally the Supreme Court of India issued its ruling in 2019.
Huge moment.
Yeah, a landmark decision.
Absolutely.
So could you break down the key points of that ruling for us?
So, in essence, the court decided that the land where the Babri Masjid had stood should be given to the Hindu community.
Okay.
For the construction of the Ram Mandir.
Right.
But, at the same time, they also ruled that a different site should be provided for building a new mosque.
Okay, so it was an attempt to find a solution that acknowledged both religious sentiments and the need for communal harmony.
Exactly, to try and bring people together rather than drive them further apart.
Okay, so that brings us to modern-day Ayodhya, a city that's clearly in a period of transformation after this major decision.
Yeah, things are definitely changing there.
So what's the situation now?
Well, the plans for the Ram Mandir are moving full steam ahead.
Right.
This is a big moment for a lot of Hindus, seeing this long-held dream becoming a reality.
It's a pretty monumental undertaking.
It really is.
And of course, the laying of the foundation stone back in August 2020.
Oh, yeah, with Prime Minister Modi there.
That was a hugely symbolic event, really marking the official start of this major construction project.
A really powerful moment for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And it really put Ayodhya back in the spotlight as a major pilgrimage destination.
Because even with all the controversy and the legal battles, Ayodhya never really lost that status, did it?
No, not at all.
It's remained this crucial center for pilgrims.
Millions of devotees still flock to Ayodhya every year.
Yeah.
Drawn by its sacred history and spiritual energy.
Especially during those big religious festivals.
Oh, definitely.
Like Ram Navami,
yes,
celebrating Rama's birth, and Diwali,
commemorating his triumphant return.
I can only imagine the crowds during those events.
It's something else. The whole city just comes alive.
Wow.
It's this incredible atmosphere of devotion and celebration.
Okay, so for someone who's thinking about visiting or
Mhm.
just wants to get a better sense of the city's layout and its key religious sites,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the landmarks that really stand out?
Well, the big one, obviously, is the Janmabhoomi temple, which is still under construction.
Yeah.
But once it's finished, it's going to be a major, major landmark.
Okay.
And then there's the Hanumangahi temple, which is really stunning.
Yeah, that one's always so colorful in photos.
Oh, it is. It's beautiful.
What's the story behind that one?
So that temple is dedicated to Lord Hanuman.
Okay.
And according to legend, Hanuman actually lived there,
Oh, wow.
guarding the city of Ayodhya.
Interesting.
So visiting this temple is often a really important part of the pilgrimage for a lot of people.
It's like a must-do on the Ayodhya itinerary.
Exactly.
So where is it located?
It's up on this little hill, which gives you this great view of the city.
Oh, nice.
And then there's Kanak Pawan, which literally means golden palace.
Yeah, that name already suggests some kind of special connection to Rama and Sita.
Right. It's this beautiful temple dedicated to them.
Okay.
And it's believed to have been a gift from Rama's stepmother, Kaikeyi, to Sita after their wedding.
Mm.
So it holds a really special place for devotees who revere the divine couple. And the architecture itself is quite lovely, with lots of intricate detail work.
And what about the Tradakithakur temple? What story does that one tell?
So that temple marks the spot where Lord Rama is believed to have performed the Ashwamedha Yagna,
Okay.
which was this powerful Vedic ritual,
Right.
often done by kings to assert their power and sovereignty.
I see.
And inside the temple, you'll find idols of Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna,
Okay.
all carved from a single block of black rock. It's really impressive.
Wow. Sounds like it's worth a visit.
Definitely.
And finally, we have to talk about the Sari River, which you mentioned earlier.
Oh, of course. Can't forget the river.
It's more than just a geographical feature, though, right?
Oh, yeah. The Sari River is considered extremely sacred in Hinduism,
Okay.
and it flows right alongside Ayodhya.
Mm-hmm.
Pilgrims often take ritual dips in the water, believing it to be purifying.
Makes sense.
It's an integral part of Ayodhya's sacred landscape.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Ayodhya, it's clear that this is more than just a city.
Oh, yeah. So much more.
It's a testament to faith.
Definitely.
It's rooted deep in ancient history,
Right.
and it's a vital point of cultural identity, especially for Hindus.
Absolutely.
It's that profound and lasting association with Lord Rama, the story told so vividly in the Ramayana, that has solidified its place in Hindu beliefs and practices.
It's more than just a location for millions. It's the embodiment of their spiritual heritage.
Exactly. And understanding that narrative becomes even richer when you acknowledge the history of both temples and mosques in Ayodhya.
Right. It's not a simple story.
Yeah, a duality that unfortunately led to some very significant and lasting controversies.
Yeah, that's an important part of the picture.
It's like all these layers of history,
Hmm.
periods of coexistence
Yeah.
and periods of conflict,
Right.
all woven together to form the complex tapestry of Ayodhya's identity.
And to really appreciate its significance today, you have to understand that past,
Absolutely.
it's all connected.
So Ayodhya is this powerful example of how faith, history, and cultural identity all intersect in India.
Mhm.
And it really makes you think
Yeah.
about how ancient legacies continue to shape our world.
They really do.
So here's a question for our listeners to ponder. What other places with these deep roots, these intricate histories, continue to influence how we see ourselves and our shared human story?
That's a great question to think about.
Yeah, something to chew on.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Ayodhya.
My pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.